Ще вони готові. Звучимо. Ti moram objasniti da je mora spavati.
Jesi ti spavao uopšte?
Za verziju možeš uvijek kupiš.
Mhm.
Liquid verziji.
Da. Samo možda kupiš. Daj. I šta s njim?
Busaš ove...
Mape, šta?
Mapi. Ne mape.
Nego?
Ono kamenje po...
Po?
Ekspediciji to.
Dobro.
Posljedno.
Ćeš ti to da odeš AFK možda? Nećeš.
Neću još.
Ja.
Nisam mapu završio.
But it would be super
Neće ni
great
završiti.
if you could ask the questions about the current topic
Ne.
when we are talking
To
about
što
it.
udaraš glavom u zid.
If you
bukvalno.
just spam the same thing 10
Imam
times about
beskonačno
activities,
života
doesn't really help us, and
tako da
we
nije...
already kind of told you where we
Ne,
are.
kad padneš na nula experience na taj level, možeš valiti koliko imaš tableta.
dedicated Q&A segment at the end too, so if you have, you know,
To je dobra
questions
stvar
at
kod
the
levela,
end,
ne
you
možeš
can
past
find
level
answer it.
unazad.
But it was so cool if
Može.
you could talk about
Ne može.
the topics and not just spam something. So
Da odeš toliko negativno experience da gubiš level.
sorry to interrupt.
No,
I just
no,
wanted
that's
to
fine, yeah.
address because a lot of questions. But
Koliko
let's
puta
move
treba
on to
pogineš da
the
pao
changes
level?
with that being said.
Ne pojma.
So
Jedan u ljudi...
basically all the other
Good point.
smaller pieces for balancing into this other.
Možda ima monster koji
So it's
skida
a
levela.
limited set overall, but still we
Yeah.
have like the most meaningful, the most impactful changes. So
Ne zajebavam se,
The Spring
pa si igrao Souls igre.
so what we're doing on this one is actually increasing
U Souls
the base
igrama
damage
imaš
a little bit.
recimo Wraithove
Spanu
ili
dušu.
pa dođe, izgrabite i sisati level.
We
Sisati
kind
level.
of moved with, for example, Maynard into the territory where we allow also medium weapons to have a high amount of damage, but they will only have that for a very short distance, and then they bleed their damage much easier. over
Kako
distance,
sam ja bio
as
razočaran kad
the
sam
bullet,
prvi put vidio
can
da
lose its
se
power.
gubi...
Compared to, let's say, a
There's you
long ammo
in Thomas
cartridge,
also.
which might maybe start a little bit lower in damage, but actually retains the damage and eventually overtakes in terms of
Oh,
damage
yeah.
at a certain distance.
Šta je bio?
So think of the medium bullet as being good for stopping power, right? They work very well in close range, but they're not that effective in like the medium even, or some very, especially like the longer distances. And that is translated here as well. Springfield has a powerful round, it kicks like a mule when you get hit by it, but that damage obviously doesn't translate to be the same as, let's say, a weapon that is a long ammo weapon, because at 100 meters that damage will be a fraction of that. We also obviously have the shorty adjuster to this one, so both of those become very interesting choices, because obviously they do a lot more damage, which means they're great for follow-up shots.
Yeah, they pack a bit more punch within the 50 meter.
But doubling down on their respective categories. So
Yeah.
Springfield remains a size 4, Springfield Shorty remains a size 2, obviously, and then rather giving them a bit more punch per shot, but still relying only on the main ammunition, and then you can experiment with high velocity, with poison and the other ones. And keep in mind, like the damage then translates based on ammo types as well. So explosive obviously goes down because explosive generally lower, high velocity is a bit lower. So we didn't list those numbers here, but obviously everything translates down with the usual fractions and percentages as you would expect. We also went to the Berthier and looked at that one a little bit more. So the Berthier received a lot of buffs, I think 2 updates ago roughly, before we introduced the new system. Because at that time also it needed to compete against like the Crack, against the Mosin, against the other weapons being like large slot weapons. This has changed. We've already reduced the ammunition on the Berthier, but in hindsight we probably should have also reduced the damage. Like just relying on the ammunition seems to not have been enough because it's such a good pick at the moment in size 3. So this is another attempt for just like nudging it down just a little bit compared to, let's say, some of the other size 3 weapons. So like what does it mean for the new 1890 cavalry? What does it mean for the Oberus match? And other weapons that it competes up directly. So we think this is a much better spot now. That means also like if you don't hit someone up close but actually let the shot travel, at one point you might be below 125, right? So all of these knock-on effects, your veterans know exactly what that all means and translates to in practice for kill shots and reliability. But we think was an important step to kind of see it. And we still want the Berthier to remain strong and be a strong choice, because with just 3 shots also and all the drawbacks it has about trades, etc., it still has handicaps around it. Obviously a veteran can maybe work around those better, than someone else, but still, it is something that we feel belongs in size 3, and we're gonna nudge it further if needed to make sure it actually fits in size 3. Last weapon piece here is the Nitro Express. So this has been something that you guys been asking about for a long time, but we couldn't really do just because of the power level. But we feel now we are ready to do this because of the size 5 categorization we can now, or did apply it for the Nitro Express. So the Nitro is once again more reliable to use at a distance. Because it doesn't have the random deviation, which is like kind of a micro spread that we added to the projectiles, primarily for the Derringer, but also for slugs. So basically, like non-stabilized rounds, kind of use this kind of to make sure that you don't snipe with them so much because they're just not really stabilized in flight. For the Nitro, it was more of a balancing rather than a realistic reason for it. But we felt that was needed at the time, but now we can wind it back. So now, have fun using those creep sites again to actually kill people up in towers if you can. It's definitely more easier to score headshots over distance.
Yep.
And then the last thing, Shadow Leap, that's more of a consistency piece. We just introduced the interaction timer from 4 to 3 seconds, so you just should be able to just leap a little bit faster than you can do right now, and hopefully you get a bit more utility. It's just more of a minor change. We've seen that Shadow Leap has been going down in usage quite a bit, and anecdotally, very often you see people say like, "What's in a tower? It's a trait." Yeah, oh, it's a scarcity. Oh, it's Shadow Leap.
Yeah.
So we want to give a bit of Shadow Leap love here, but there might be more that we want to do or need to do to this trait. But that was the first step that was easy to do, and we wanted to get it part of this.
Absolutely. And that closes our balancing changing segment for this update. And we are gonna talk about what is new in the update. So all the new stuff coming up in Road 12 Chapter 2. But before that, let's take a look at the trailer.
Sir, the balloon is taking too long to fill. We need to open more gas valves. I'll fetch the cargo crates. Cover me, sir. Once our men have these supplies, they might dream up a better way to fight these monsters. It's nearly ready.
As always, what an amazing trailer by the creative services team. To shout out to those guys, always delivering super cool stuff. And before we jump into it, to Chapter 2 Road 12, very important thing is starting on July 2nd. So next week, you don't have to wait too much, and there's gonna be a bunch of exciting stuff in there and some new narrative pieces as well. So for that, we have Devon joining us today to talk us over that. How are you today? Hi.
I'm good. Yeah, I was so happy to be invited, so thank you for having me.
Yeah, and I know you have super cool insights into like development and other real fun facts as well. So make sure to stick around because it's gonna be a lot of fun. But yeah, how about jumping into Chapter 2 and talking about the story around it and the cargo balloons?
Let's talk about balloons. I know a lot of people worked very hard on this, so it's very fun to just like, it's balloon time. Hopefully you all saw the gameplay trailer drop yesterday as well, which was looking great. So in researching this whole event, the theme of the event, we found that the military at this time, and a lot of militaries at this time, had balloons that they would use. And these were historically for like aerial reconnaissance. You would get up top and do topography. You would make a map or report on enemy movements, sometimes like give instructions for fire down below. So my favorite fun fact in learning about the military balloons is that they used to be painted bright colors for intimidation. That was the purpose, and I just crack up every time I think of like some guys in the 1800s, this like hot pink balloon, and they're like,
oh no!
And I remember the idea came, we wanted to put it in the game because one, it sounded like fun, and then Rohan came over and said, well, we've got this story, how would this make sense in there? And the answer is quite easily. You know, not only is it historically accurate, it was used in the US in the Civil War. Both the Union and Confederate armies had balloons. The Union had a whole balloon corps that they then disbanded afterwards. But it's Also, it makes sense. The 26th Regiment gets to this area. A lot of it's very wild. People haven't been here for a long time. There's grunts attacking them. There's other hunters who are entrenched here attacking them who don't want them involved. Like, supply routes overland are just a non-starter, so they think that they'll go by air. And they procure a balloon. It is... Maybe they stole it. Maybe it's Desolation's delegate. He has come up, I think Nicolette mentioned him in the last stream, formerly the Statesman, if you remember him. He is basically financing this operation. He is sending weapons and ammo and things in crates via the balloon to the 26th Regiment. In return, he would like them to send him samples of corruption, monster parts and weird stuff that they find that they can't explain. And whatever he's gonna do with that, I don't know. Maybe we'll find out.
But they ate that stuff, so they couldn't really send it.
They ate some of that stuff. They sent some other stuff. So when your hunter arrives here, you and your bloodline, you can see from the storytelling in the stronghold, the writing on the walls, that kind of what's already been happening to the 26th, that's already gone down. And now all of those crates that they were using are just lying around for you. So what are we gonna do with those, Rohan?
Yeah, so let's talk about the gameplay changes that are coming with that.
So, what are cargo balloons? So there is kind of an expansion of already more objective-based play at the stronghold. With chapter 1, we had obviously the dead boss there to banish, the cage boss target, and now we kind of expand about playing an objective at the stronghold with the balloons. They are basically a new extraction objective where you can extract loot out of the game mid-mission, which is something new that we've done. We'll get into the details in a bit. But yeah, you basically load the cargo and send it out, inflate it, and send it out with some juicy rewards.
Yeah, so what are the balloons?
Yeah, so the cargo balloons there'll be one per stronghold. They'll always be at the stronghold. They're used to extract the cargo, and the cargo that's extracted is rewarded to you even if you don't leave the mission, if you die during the mission, which is very important to us. The cargo can include the cargo crates that you I mean, I'm sure there's been a topic of discussion with the community. What
Carrying them around.
exactly, we just teased it, and we wanted to see how many people would actually carry it around, and I guess people found value in it to run to the extract, which I like. I love it. But yeah, the cargo crates were always designed with the balloon in mind, and more importantly, you can extract a bounty token mid-mission, which is something we're very excited about to experiment with. There's like kind of two parts to the whole gameplay. You have to kind of inflate it first. Once it's ready, you interact with the balloon to release it, which is also kind of a timed interaction. So there's a lot of defense and attack play that you can do, and as an attacker to a balloon compound, you can also, there are many ways to counterplay it as well.
And of course the team that launches.
Yeah, the team that launches gets the reward, yeah.
Yeah. And let's look at the inflation mechanic that you talked about.
So,
how does that work?
A lot of you have already talked about the barrels that you have seen at the stronghold. Well, yeah, that's containing gas that you inflate the balloon with. There are valves at the barrel that once you open those valves will inflate the balloon. There are three valves at each stronghold. Essentially, they kind of join at this junction towards the balloon, and they're all connected by a pipe. So how you find them is you kind of can follow the pipe to find the valve. It's important to know there's one valve always inside the main fortified area, and two are always outside. So you kind of have to put yourself at risk to inflate the balloon faster. And the more valves you turn on, the faster it inflates. And here are some of the numbers. So with all three activated, you inflate it in 4 minutes, and the slowest you can inflate it is 12. I think in actuality, you'll kind of see that number somewhere in between, around 6-ish minutes, because you're not going to inflate all three at the same time, and then there are other teams who obviously going to block you from turning on all the valves. So the 6 minutes should also, or up to 12 minutes, should also provide enough time for teams to even get here and then kind of either steal the balloon, kill the team inflating the balloon, and take it for themselves, a whole bunch of things.
Someone was like, inflation. This is the fun kind of inflation. Okay?
I mean, yeah, inflate tests, ironically, one of the saddest but even amazing things to see was you're getting to the compound and you see the balloon kind of drift away, calm down away. But it's a cool visual, though.
I want to shout out also our level art and level design team. They did a lot of research into the hydrogen barrels, and that is the way that they looked. They've actually, I mean, you can't see it from the outside, but they have like layers inside of the barrels, so the different chemicals could be reacting and working together.
It's very cool. So how do we load the balloons with the actual cargo?
So the
Rewards.
Yes.
so these cargo crates you've been lugging around, you can actually fit them. They're nice slots in the balloon. Ooh, I wonder what you put in there. You put these cargo crates in there. So you carry them to the balloon. You can load up to 4 cargo crates. It's important that once the balloon is loaded with the crate, you can't unload it, right? And including the token. So you can load up to 4 crates and 1 bounty token into the balloon. Loading the crate does not reserve ownership, meaning if you load your cargo crate in it doesn't mean you will get the rewards. It's all the rewards are completely tied to the person extracting the balloon. But if say I am extracting the balloon, my whole team will get the reward. It is shared within the team.
Okay. So what are in the crate?
Okay, yeah. I mean, this is the hardest topic of discussion with these crates, right? We've introduced 2 of them at start of chapter 1, and you must have seen the 3rd one come in last week when we unlocked the new strongholds, the weapon
yes,
cargo
cool.
crate. But essentially,
Just,
there's 3 types of cargo crates: the Star Samo crate, the Hunt Dollar crate, and the weapon cargo crate.
Sjödust.
And each of them have a standard and a worn variant. I can go into a bit more detail now because we were just teasing it, but
Spróbujesz
Star
kogoś
Samo
trawę
crate,
smrti
the
na
Star
wtedy
Samo
rękę
crate
już.
gives 1 random instance of a Star Samo type for a gun, and the pristine, the standard version gives 2 of a specific type, and you will see it in the
Pustime.
instructions. Some of you have seen when carrying the cargo crate that says pick up Scar Samo crate in parentheses dum dum / shredder ammo, and so you kind of know which one you're going to get out, and that's what makes it a little bit more valuable. The Hunt Dollars, the worn Hunt Dollars give around 100 Hunt Dollars, and the standard one gives 250.
Dobra,
And
najczuzesz.
for the weapon, the new cargo crate, the worn weapon crate gives a pistol, a shotgun, and a rifle. It's important to know these will be not contraband, so you can sell them also once you exit out. And the standard one gives a scarce weapon, and it will be specified with scarce weapon. So if you walk up to the crate, you'll see it say pick up scarce ammo crate, scarce weapon crate, and it says shredder in parentheses. Another thing I want to clarify: we had 3 cargo crates show up at the strongholds of chapter 1. That's because we were teasing them. There are going to be way more now with the balloon, and the idea is there's going to be like 12-ish supposedly. But the idea we want to do is we want you to explore around the stronghold, because it could be in the trenches, into the tent area, and we want it to be a choice of what you load in. So you kind of either you take the risk of
So you
taking
modify,
the
yeah,
one
yeah,
hunt crate that's
żłotą
right in
nie
front of you
sobie.
next to the balloon, or you venture out,
Tak, ja
possibly
sam
putting
takiemu
yourself at
laczkę
risk
mapy i
to
to.
gain a dum-dum scarce ammo crate.
Actually, on the $100 side, a lot of people were like, before we mentioned the balloons, they were like, oh, it's too low. So now, of course, you can put more.
You can put up to 4, so the balancing was always, we didn't want it to inflate too much, knowing that you can always extract 4 out. So we've kind of came that, and it also adds a layer of choice, because you could find these ones that you maybe not value that much, but there's the hope to find the other ones that you do value, and kind of go around the stronghold.
So, how do players play around this new objective kind of in the game?
So essentially, all the valves you'll see, they work like crankgate wheels, right? So if you damage them, they'll turn the valves off. You can turn the valve back on by interacting with it, but obviously that you have to put yourself at risk, come out to the valve to turn it back on. It kind of slows down the inflation and then gives other teams time to come and maybe launch an attack, or even sneakily launch the balloon by stealing it, which I've done in a couple of playtests, and it feels really good, right? And since you keep the rewards after you die, you can also try and do a Hail Mary pray. You know, 2 of your teammates are down, they're probably fighting another team, you kind of just run in, sit, and launch the balloon when it's ready. The launch interaction is also around 8 seconds long, so it is a commitment. So while someone is trying to launch, you can also like throw in a dynamite, kill him. Yeah.
Yeah, it's super fun. And why don't we actually also look at it while talking about it, so you guys can also see it on the screen how it exactly works in action too.
The balloon. Here you can see the junction I was talking about with the pipes, so it kind of leads you to the valves. It's important to note, once you turn one on, you'll see it in the video, the valves have feedback of them wobbling, so you can tell which valve is on at all times, and you can tell if someone has turned it off as well, similarly. So there's 3 of them. One is always in the crate, in the fortified area, just to repeat. And here you can see the difference in speeds. What's important to note is it was really important to the team to have like diegetic UI. So you have this kind of meter next to the balloon that shows you how close it is to being filled, and it makes noise at 50%, and at 100% you'll kind of see obviously the balloon filled, but also kind of particle effects come out, and it's very clear that the balloon is ready for launch.
Someone asked if you can turn them on with poltergeist.
No. That was balancing. I was going to say it's a balancing issue. It gets really poorly if you sit with the beetle and poltergeist stay away there. It was considered. As you can see, this is the feedback for it being filled and how the balloon looks.
Yeah, as we look at that big XXVI, the Roman numeral 26, I guess just a behind-the-scenes fun fact is that all the military balloons had names because they were vessels, like ships. You had to name your vessels. And so we got really excited about naming the balloon. We had decided on Renegade, but then we found in art tests, and this is the perfect example of like, no matter how perfectly you plan something, what it is in the game is going to be different sometimes. In the art tests, yeah, there it is.
That's me.
Us losing in real time. Yeah, we
This was
found
in
that
the
it didn't
cinema.
look as good. Renegade just printed on the edge of the balloon. It was too long
There's
and it
some
wrapped around, so
giant
we thought
point.
let's do something shorter like Star or Rogue. Those could have worked, but nothing looked as intimidating with the dark colors and the kind of like scrawled on numerals. So yeah, we just kept it the way it is now.
It looks sick.
It does,
great.
looks good.
And I think it's gonna be a really fun epic.
Oh man,
so.
we're super excited. I mean, I think like even during playtest we had some of our best hunt fights around just because of the spread of objectives and stuff, in terms of finding the valves, etc. So,
And I also feel like it's such a big game changer change.
Yeah.
Like something we never really had, even anything similar in the game so far. So I was so excited to reveal it.
yeah, extracting bounty in the middle of a match and then probably going to another bounty without the downside of having a giant marker on you as well. So
it's gonna be crazy. And just to say it again, it is coming on the 2nd of July, so next week, because people are like, oh my god, when is it coming? Yeah, just a second. So it's gonna be really cool, but we do have some other things in the update as well. So we have some new story challenges introduced in there, 2 of them actually. So let's talk about those first.
Yeah, Chapter 2 will have 2 new story challenges. One is free and one is premium. So the free story challenge is called The Regiment's Last Stand. And this does something that we're really excited about. We want to be able to start using the story challenges to feed into the event story and to get you more of that. Because when we make events, a lot of what we do is make like a big narrative document and everybody kind of, it's so big. Everyone's like, why did you make it so big? But everyone can use that to kind of find the themes and the vibes, and we all try to use this as this kind of unifying factor. And some cool stories end up there that don't then make it into the game, and now we can put them in the game. In addition, give you extra challenges, extra rewards, and things like that. So it's going to expand on the whole Road to Hell narrative as the event goes. Another reason we're really excited for this is that this is a way to kind of keep the event in the game even after the event is over. So if you're new to Hunt, or if you are busy and have to miss this event, you know, those rewards and challenges will still be there for you attached to the story event, and so will the story itself. So if you're interested in story, then you can kind of read through and piece together what happened. The premium story challenge is called Let Us Pray, and that one is also a little bit tied to this event, which I'll get into, but it's also an opportunity to just dive deeper into the Hunt world in general.
But first, let's talk about the Regiment's Last Stand a bit more.
Yes. So this one follows some hunters you may be familiar with. Yeah, Ambrose is back.
Ambrose.
I just got very fond of him while writing. His tone turned out very no-nonsense and very tired. Ambrose Hazen and Otis Blackwell, they have joined the 26th Regiment because Otis, in his backstory, is a veteran. And so when the 26th come in, they think, all right, this is great. There's more manpower, some guns, some order, and this is what we need to be able to fight corruption, finally. And of course, it does not go that well. Instead, they get front row tickets to the madness. But we want this to add a little more depth to the whole like stronghold disaster. You see it from Ambrose's point of view. This was a really fun opportunity.
Hello
for us
and
to
welcome.
kind of
My name is Greta Evans.
And I'm Oliver Jordan. Together, we'll renovate the homes of our hosts.
But there's something more to it all than just painting, plastering, and assembling. So grab your tools and join us in Sunset Bay, a charming little town by the seaside.
Look at this little beauty. I've always wanted to live in one of these.
Unfortunately, John and Nicole still aren't sure how to arrange the living room.
Not only this, don't forget about the shack under the house.
We must definitely talk it through, but let's do it during the renovation.
Making things in the level that would appear in the story challenge and vice versa. So we worked closely with level design team. Like Ambrose will write about these altars and these rituals that Sergeant Riggins is putting on, and they're in the game. You've probably found them in the strongholds, like the guns arranged so nicely. That was also a fun moment when we were designing them. It was a concern if people would get confused if they saw guns used as dressing, and would they want to pick up the gun? And then Rohan and I looked at each other and we're like, let's let him pick up the gun.
Yeah, just put it there, have one bullet in it. It's a little ritual that they did.
And now you can interact with it if you want to. Free shot. Another thing we did was work really closely with live design, who worked super hard on the challenges, and we want to be able to bring some more theming into the challenges. So in the Regiment's Last Stand, you'll have some that work around using the balloon, extracting cargo with the balloon, and we want you to feel like you are kind of getting used to it along with Ambrose, right? Like he's a hunter in your bloodline. You guys should be figuring this out.
Yeah, so why don't we actually look at them as well? All the rewards.
Yes. So the rewards for the story challenge, you will get 3 hunter skins, Ambrose Hazen Enlisted, Ambrose Hazen Officer, and Otis Blackwell Warhorse. Older players may recognize these skins. They are from way back, and now they have been re-added to the game. They've been reworked and polished, and you can have them for free via the story challenge. You'll also get the player profile title, Earn Their Stripes, and an Ambrose avatar, and some progression rewards, as well as a new weapon skin and charm. Can we look at them?
Yeah, why not we? So
Yes.
the interesting thing for the uppercut precision, which is my favorite regular uppercut skin actually, so really happy to see this. Super cool. And then we also have the buckle up charm.
Like 3 skulls.
Yeah,
That's good.
very cool. But why don't we talk about the premium story challenge as well, which is Let Us Pray.
Yes, this one centers around the hunter Marrowhawk. She is connected to Skulltaker, and their backstory is that they hunt together for a while, and then they part ways. Their styles are too different, because Skulltaker likes his prey live, and Marrowhawk likes her prey super dead, like way too dead. And so we were inspired in creating her story by, one, her design. You'll see it on the next slide, but it's very huntressy and has these kind of vulture motifs, these birds of Cherion. And we thought this would be a great addition to the Road to Hell story, because there's going to be, this is the time for battlefields, and that's where bodies go, and then that's where vultures go, and that's where Marrowhawk shows up. We were also really thinking about old Sergeant Riggins there eating the corrupted meat, force-feeding his comrades the
Having a
corrupted
good
meat.
time, man. What you got against it?
And we had to ask the question of what happens to you? Like if you're hunting in this area and you kill something that's corrupted and you eat that because you eat what you kill, what happens to you? And Marrowhawk is about to find out. And we're going to find out with her. And if you make it to the end, we put in like a special little lore bit about the spider and its webs, if you can pass all the challenges and get there. But I will leave that for you guys to find.
Absolutely. But let's look at the reward from the hunter.
There she is. You will get her legendary hunter skin. You will also get a throwing spear equipment animation, eye on the target, and then you will get a Marrowhawk avatar, frame, and a badge for your player profile card.
And of course, we get some skills as well, so it's not just the throwing spear animation, but we do get the throwing spear as well, so 5 more. And then the rainful storm or sparks, so it is for the very end of the series.
All variants.
Yeah, so silencer, the sniper. I'm really bad with the scope name. Scopey Sparks. Officially. But yeah, you get all 3 of them, and then you also get a charm in this story, which is called
Marrowhawk ever killed. Now it's a challenge.
We wouldn't have charm.
Dennis is still here.
I got a thumbs up. Yes. But as I mentioned, yes, in the update, the hunter is called a mercenary, but yes, it's called twice and maybe you can actually wishlist it right now already, so make sure to check out the store. Yeah. Thank you. We already have the first wishlist. But let's talk about what's in it.
Yes, so we will get the mercenary. Her backstory was actually another one inspired by the hunter design, where we saw this concept and the military camo, but she was a woman, and we realized, obviously in the U.S. Army at the time, women were not combatants, but we decided we would go with another historical route, which is all of the accounts throughout history, through different cultures and time periods, of women who disguise themselves as men in order to join up as combatants. And so that's what the backstory we went for. Miriam Conley, she joins the 26th Regiment back before they break away from the army. She's under Commander Whitlaw, and she leaves with him for their new mission. And she's one of the first people, once he starts getting paranoid and it starts really getting to him out there, to try and pull him aside and say, hey, this is not working. I don't like what this is bringing out in you, and to warn him that something is wrong here and something's wrong within the unit. And the corruption has just magnified his weaknesses as a leader. So instead of taking this feedback seriously, what he does is turn his gun against her. And so she deserts and she flees and just becomes a mercenary. She'll fight for herself now, and she's in a pretty good position with the rest of the independent hunters because she knows how the 26th works and can sell those secrets.
And just to highlight it, that this DLC will also include the avatar for it, which is the actual first DLC that already includes an avatar, but we'll talk about all DLCs and their avatars just in a bit as well. But first, let's look at the other weapons included in the DLC as well. Yeah, so we have Unseen Reason,
All those
which
Lebel
is...
lovers.
Yeah. Dennis hinted it.
Yes.
Our Lebel stands. Come on, keep going.
They love it. Then we have Mimicry's Mark, which is for the Spicer and the Silencer variant as well. Really cool. And then you have the Knuckle Knife. You can run. You had a story for that as well.
I just love this name. Shout out.
Yeah.
I didn't write it, so it's not vain, but shout out to Amy. Great work, Amy. I love that in this name, when you say you can run, you always hear that voice continuing, but you can't hide. I thought that was good.
Yeah, and with that we are at the end of the DLC segment, and we will be talking about the player profile customization. But let's look at the DLC video first. And Devon, thank you so much for all the narrative and the fun inside as well. It was so nice to have you on.
To be here.
See you. Alright, while we were talking about it, I already read the chat and people are like, oh, we don't have the avatars for the old DLCs, it kind of sucks. Well, now we have some new ones in this update, so what are we doing here, Dennis?
First off, pencil.
Yeah.
Scopy Sparks.
Dennis.
It's real.
I think actually you have to change it in the game to that now. I think Sniper is too hard to remember.
Scopy. What about Marksman then? Scopy.
Small, little Scopy, and then
And the Deadeye? Yeah.
Deadeye, medium Scopy.
All right. Yeah, so player profile, avatars. It's something that we've been talking about for a long time now, that we have this backlog, this back catalog to fill up.
Yes.
Many of you guys waiting for getting finally access to the avatars of the hunters you play a lot. So obviously, once you do, that will add so much more meaning to the whole player profile cards for you, because you can express yourself, you can express with the same hunter, etc. So we're getting one step closer to that one. We're starting to fill up the backlog now, and with this update, we are having 22 DLC avatars that we're adding in one big batch. And the great thing is that if you own the DLC, you own the avatar right now, then once the update is live, obviously. But you don't have to pay for them. They're basically part of the DLC packages now, and if you already own the DLC, you get access to them right away. You can equip them and have fun with them, and I think that's very, very important.
Yeah, so it's 22 DLCs, but some have multiple hunters, so in total 25 hunters.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's take a look at them. And someone was like, Lilith? Finally, maybe. Yeah.
So that's the first batch here.
Yeah.
So we see the Bone Doctor, the Weird Sister, the Phantom, Lorona's Heir, and the Research getting theirs. Finally, it's the old school ones.
super cool.
Another rat.
And then their blessing, Shangui, the Revenant, the Ronin, Carter, Trickshooter. Again, like really nice community picture with training on the field there, together with the Desert Rose one. Then Northstar, the Sovereign, the Prodigal Daughter, and Monroe.
Monroe, and again, shout out to Amy. Once
Yeah.
again, because she was like, yes, Monroe. Maybe I need to switch my avatar finally. So, I also love Monroe.
But there's more.
There is
But wait,
more.
but there's
So many.
So we're also getting the Reptilian, the Turncoats, the Reaper, Ghostface, the Angel of Death, Lilith,
Lilith, yeah.
Tresor, Lady Lewis, the Ironclad, and the Mercenary, of course, being the new one.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, so finally it is complete. The DLCs are there. I know that a lot of people ask for it, and it will also bring so much variety to
Yeah.
profiles now.
So it's the first step. There will be obviously more badges coming in the future. We want to complete the entire backlog catalog so that everybody can just really use the ones from the hunters they really cherish and enjoy using. But step by step with every update, we want to release more and more of those.
Absolutely, and just in general for PPC, because I did see some questions about like, oh, but when can I get like a tracker for this? That's also something we are constantly working on, adding more and more.
Yeah.
We also added some with 2.8 already, so we can expect that in the future too. And with that, we arrive to the end of our content for Chapter 2 of Road to Hell, and maybe let's start looking at the Q&A segment of the stream and answering some more of your questions that we couldn't until now.
Let's do it.
So let me just open the questions here as well. Okay.
You're all connecting to the outside world there, then.
Yeah, we don't.
I'm connected.
rely on you.
I can make up questions.
My eyes are so bad I can't see anything on the prompter when it comes to the chat.
Yeah, I just had to because like our lovely community managers already collected a lot during the stream, but some were actually already answered. First of all, I think you mentioned this, but maybe we can say again. How many balloons spawn on the map?
There's one balloon at the one stronghold that spawns at the map. Yes.
So see, there's an upgrade to the stronghold. Wherever the stronghold is, the balloon is.
Yes. So, what if like they close a gas tank by damaging it or shooting it? Can it be opened again, or is it like permanently damaged?
Yes, as I mentioned, it can be. So you can like prevent the gas flow by damaging it, but you can reopen it by doing the interaction again.
It's really like the little like
The
crank wheels that we have on the doors, on the elevators and stuff like that. So the same interaction is true here, and if you do like proper damage to them or interact with them, yeah.
And just on that again, like, is there a limit of what damage type, or does it have the bullets or melee damage? Or
It's exactly the same as for the current version.
So yeah.
So not choke, for example.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I see people asking again, like, oh, when I get Headsman or when I get Blackfoot. Again, as Dennis mentioned, we are expanding on that.
More coming.
They will be coming. Yeah. Our goal is to fill up that catalog sooner rather than later.
Yes. Okay. Wow. So many questions. Oh yeah. Typical question about cross progression between PC and console. As we mentioned already multiple times, that currently we don't have any plans for this to share the progression between PC and consoles. It's kind of two separate things. And since we also introduced the lobby invites also separate, so PC players can invite other PC players, be it on the Windows Store, Game Pass PC, and we had or just the console, so Xbox and PlayStation. Yeah. Oh, it's a fun question. Will traits be added to the preset loadouts?
We talked about this, I think, in one of the streams. We do have it on our list. When this is happening, I can't talk about yet. But this for us is the piece that completes
I mean,
this whole thing. So
yeah, it's there. We're working on thinking about it.
Maybe I can share like just a chat with you guys here while I look at the preset questions, so you can like grab any that you see.
And here was I just hoping I just get spoon-fed some questions.
Can you see these? Then
I will. I am doing that, but meanwhile, if you see anything else, then you can also just take from that.
Crytek, will there be a bug fix for fast fingers with the cavalry anytime soon? Yeah, that's one of the bugs we have on the list. I don't think it's part of the 2.81 update package, but it's definitely something we have on this. So there's a couple of general fast finger bugs we're looking into when it comes to the ammo transition, etc. So expect that in one of the upcoming updates.
One of the questions was, will the balloon and stronghold stay after the event? currently, no, but the idea is we do want to, these mechanics have been invested in, so you might see them down the road somewhere, similar to the circus and Balweaver Nest.
When has something from a previous event ever returned?
Yeah, no.
I mean, of course, we want to feature these things more, but like when, how, in what frequency, etc., what the reason for the return is. Now they're there. Now we want to use them. The event is to celebrate them. What comes after, we talk about after.
I see a question that I can already answer about the mercenary DLC hunter being too difficult to spot, maybe like we had with Kane on a Hasman, and we actually put a lot of effort into making sure that it's not the case. So, for example, brightening the hood a bit to make it outfit, and they are always tested in different environments, different lighting settings to make sure that.
We've basically established a process based on our learnings from this one, and we call it the Kane or Kane not initiative. Basically, like every hunter that we create that has like a darker tone, darker hue, camouflage sometimes even on them, we ensure that there are some contrasting pieces to them so that we can embed them in a round, we can test them. So with the was it the Headsman, Kane, and some of the others, I think we've kind of learned a lot in terms of what's important to make sure that they work. Obviously, some hunters might still be better than others. Yeah, like some of them are like very much like dressed up and intentionally very easy to spot. Others a bit more subdued, but you do have enough options in general, and none of them should be completely hidden.
I have a question for the data side that we had towards the beginning of the sea from Misa Honey. So is the weapon data only bounty hunt, bounty clash, or is it mixed? Yeah, that's the question. So is it like just overall, or is it like a specific game mode?
So we're looking specifically at all of the game modes across the board. So this is just the raw weapon data of like if you're entering the game with it. Now that's the important part, because obviously in Soul Survivor, unless you have a pistol, you do not enter the game with it. So we are aware of like that some of those choices can skew the data here and there just a little bit, obviously. But for the most part, we're looking at primarily bounty hunt, and that's the primary mode. Everybody is playing that one, and it's by a vast amount like the mode with the biggest attention, and it has the strongest impact on the usage data. So what you bring into bounty hunt ultimately is what is deciding factor here for that side.
I do have a lot of questions about the balloons. So we have from Alush 806 asked, can you unload the balloons as well before sending it, or when you put something in, it is loaded in forever?
It's loaded in forever. So you have to make that conscious choice.
Under pressure. Very often. And that's part of it. I think really like when you were explaining this a little bit earlier on about. So we had these concerns about like, so why is the weak ammo box like so small, right? And we were kind of teasing them in the first chapter, right? Like,
I didn't think so many people would extract.
They were there. We actually didn't think that extracting them would be as prominent of a choice by so many players as this was, because many of you are actually dragging these things out. Why? Just joking. But what we see now with the balloon entering like the set here is that. First off, there's so many more of those crates around. We have like 12 now scattered around. So
I mean, it's variable, but like expect around
up to a 12-ish or so in this crate. So there's a lot more different ones to choose from. So you might also just have to quickly make a choice because you hear that other team rolling up and say like, before I'm gonna launch the balloon just with 3, actually gonna put that weak ammo crate in there, or just the one with the just reduced money, because I just couldn't find any of the others. So it just makes it interesting to interact around the trenches and the stronghold itself and kind of assemble the perfect balloon in a way. And yes, because you're also locked in with your choice, you kind of are committed then, right? So you might want to just like dump them maybe all next to each first, collect them a little bit, and then see which ones you kind of puzzle in at the end. It's interesting to engage with that, so we think you guys will have quite a lot of fun like figuring out what the best combinations are for what to extract.
But so you're talking about like people carrying it, but winding meant like if you already the balloon is already gone, can you still walk out with it if they really want? It still stays.
That mechanic doesn't go away, and as you said, like there's a slot for space for like 4 of those crates in the balloon, which means there's plenty of other ones to kind of go through and pick the best ones and then bring
carry it out. Yes, it's still possible. Can you steal the balloon using Serpent from Roderick Dawn?
No. Once the bounty is in the balloon, it's confirmed in there. So.
In general, like we experiment a little bit in during the playtesting phase, like how much we want to allow others from the outside to interfere with the balloon mechanic. And at first it was very tempting. It's like, you can kind of poltergeist, do stuff, interact with it, and now it's yours. But it became so unfair so quickly. Especially the example Beetle Poltergeist, obviously, like it's like the least committing one. So we decided that you have to actually release the balloon physically, and it's a very long interaction with 8 seconds. Lots of things can go wrong during those 8 seconds. And you need to be in the right spot to be able to really release it safely, and then really claim it for yourself.
Yeah, there's just one question about whether you drop a cargo crate at extraction and then extract. Yeah, that will not get you the reward. You have to be holding it.
Yeah. So every player can maximum bring one of those crates to an exit to get.
You can't stockpile all the 12 there. No.
Get a little extra lunch box.
Just to go back to the data.
Take away.
Just to go back to the data side again, because of course we were looking at the smaller frame, and you guys already mentioned that challenges can cause a bit of spike. Sales team also said, just to mention that, of course, if like a new skin releases, that can also appear in small spike.
Which we said with the infantry, right?
Yeah.
And even what we talked about earlier with the crossbow, right? Like seeing the crossbow go up a little bit. A large part of that probably is also related to just people trying out the new skin as well, right?
Yeah.
So it still kind of remained flat, and we see this upwards trend. How strong that upward trend has been potentially being impacted by the new skin, absolutely valid point. Definitely is a factor here.
There was a question about scarce ammo, and are we planning to rotate the variants here, or does it just stay like this now?
Yeah, so we moved away from the rotation. Several updates ago, when we introduced the scar system, we kind of made it piecemeal. Like, so it's going to be that specific scars, or we made that specific ammo scars on this specific weapon, and had like a set of the first of the most annoying ones that we thought had the strongest impact, but also some of the others. And our intention back then was, okay, yeah, let's just rotate through regularly, kind of freshen things up, etc. But ultimately, we still found out like, yeah, no, it kind of makes sense that this remains scars, and we never really did this rotating piece. So with this new strategy that we've introduced with 281, we've now opted in making entire category scars, but also the rotating part doesn't make so much sense. Like, I don't think anyone will benefit from poison ammo being made scars, right? Like, instead of, let's say, another category and then rotating through. I think we are in a good spot right now by promoting the weapons being used a bit more purely, without some of the more controversial ammunition pieces, even though, yes, some of those weapons really relied on to find their place, and that's also why some of this balancing that we discussed earlier is coming into effect now to help with this. But we do believe that these categories are meant to stay scarce across the board, and you can still get these effects by just upgrading in the mission if you're lucky to find them. But again, we're looking for more feedback here. So if you guys feel differently about this, if you feel strong, if you feel like this is the wrong idea, let us know. What we've seen so far is it's a hot topic in the community. It seems to be like an equal split between people saying like, you completely ruined this gun without Dum Dum, it's useless, I never ever play it, it's such a shame, it was so good. Others say like, fucking finally. Like I can now play without just having to bandage all the time in the fight because everybody brings Dum Dum on a secondary. So we think it's a healthy change, but it might still need a bit more time to settle down. But yeah, let us know what you think that impacts our tuning and balancing.
I did see one question regarding the balloon and whether you lose your dark sight when you put bounty in it. Yes, you will. So make sure you kind of use it all up before you load it in.
That's a good question, actually. I didn't even think about it. That's clever. I've seen a lot of questions about this, and I'm not sure if we have an update. But
before you go into this one, like on that same note, what I think is really beautiful about being able to store the bounty there is that it also gives you now, like, let's assume you've been the team that took the stronghold, you've been holding that space, you've banished the cage boss, you're holding on to that bounty in there. Normally, in order to get away, you need to now physically move to an exit, right?
Yes.
While the bounty is on you, everybody can ambush you, etc. With a balloon, you actually can kind of phase out a little bit, right? Like, because you no longer have a bounty on you, the bounty it moves with the balloon, which means you can just like ditch that location. You can just disappear to the side, like jump off on the side, make a run for it, disengage, maybe attack it from another angle again. You become a regular team without necessarily the burden of bounty, unless you carry other bounty tokens, of course. But it gives you a lot more opportunities to kind of do a bit of a hit and run, get it in the balloon, and then bugger off and just like make your way to the exit in more invisible.
There is something I missed. Someone asked, will there be a sound cue when someone extracts a bounty with the balloon? Yes, it follows the same rules. So I did mention we wanted to make the UI very diegetic with the balloon, like the whole experience. But the one thing that does still happen is if someone extracts a token from the balloon, you'll get the big banner that says so and so extracted a token. So it will be obvious when that happens.
Yeah, one thing that many people asked, and it was like one of the most asked questions. I don't know if we have an update for it as of now, but we did run a small test where we had 15 players in the lobby. So is there any news regarding that?
Yeah.
Or?
No immediate news. So we were very happy with the test because it showed like what are the talking points is in the community. Some people are completely hating it. Some people saying like, yes, this is like the refresher I always wanted. We also identified, thanks to your feedback, a lot of pain points that we need to address. We haven't really come around addressing those. Our plan is that we want to do another test, but I can't announce when, whether it's going to still happening this year or sometime next year. Where we want to have at least a few of those pain points being removed, kind of see, measure the temperature, and then decide on next steps. But there is nothing immediate on it, but it's still very much on. We haven't discarded it, but we want to make it right if it ever happens, and therefore we want to first fix the pain points to ensure it gets like a fair review. Because clearly there were some pieces in there that upset people, rightfully so. We don't want.
And that's why.
Yeah, exactly.
From my side, we answered most of the questions. So unless you see,
there was a couple. There was one that asked whether if you extracted a scarce weapon box, does the whole team get it? Yes, like any of the balloon crates are shared. Even at extracts, you have to extract together, but you'll get it together if you extract. And at the balloon, the moment is gone, everyone gets the reward on the team.
Yeah. Just like with bounties, etc. Like we want to reduce the friction within the team. We don't want you to murder your teammates to claim the reward. No, like whoever is the poor guy having to do this 8-second interactions to release the balloon, his sacrifice will be remembered by everybody else because everybody will get the reward.
all right. Else in there? I'm also trying to look here.
I mean, it's the usual questions, and you mentioned this a bit earlier about like MMR hyping, etc.
Yeah.
Again, reinforcing what we talked about in our Fair Play initiative. With the last stream, we have the big streams for bigger initiative updates. On that one, we gave a bit of an update about, like, for example, the ban numbers in the last couple of weeks, etc. However, more of that stuff is to come, but it's very much an active topic. And if you want to go into the details, please have a look at the previous stream again, where we have people from our strike team there that actually work on that stuff day to day and making a hell of improvements in that.
Absolutely. There's a board on YouTube as well, which is super easy to find, just the whole stream, and it's right at the beginning, so very easy to see. An important mention, the Steam Summer sale just started, so you can get some lovely discount on Hunt and many of his DLCs too.
Join the Bayou.
It's a very good time to join indeed. Especially with this awesome Chapter 2 coming out next week as well. Yeah.
Sweet.
And of course, people as when the DLC releases, again, it's on wish list now, and it will release alongside the update.
Yes, before we just one more question, because I want to reiterate this. People asked, do you get the rewards after you extract the balloon and die? Yes, you do. That's the kind of the main calling card for it, right? Like,
you can yellow the balloon.
Yeah.
And you still get those rewards.
Actually, like my question for that. Yeah. So, when you launch the balloon, does that count already as extracted, or do you have to like wait until it's like?
No, it counts at the moment. Yeah, because
it's also where everybody would see the banner that the bounty has left and extracted. So
I'd see from two compounds.
So you can die right after that. Like you're done.
Everything from that point on is just like you kind of send it off in a distance.
You can get mowed down by the maxim.
I mean, so the people have rightly asked, well, can you not just shoot it down? I mean, if you were to apply real world physics, yes, of course you could. However, from a gameplay balancing perspective, you want it to not be something that you can deny. Like if you worked really hard for getting the balloon filled up, and actually against all odds managed to kind of release it, it getting shot down, but there's someone sitting with incendiary bullets and saying, it would be super frustrating. So yeah, absolutely, we want you to get those rewards, and therefore, nope, you cannot destroy the balloon, even if it is unrealistic, as much as I hate that word.
Okay, so I think we answered actually a lot of questions. So thank you for taking the time to answer all that as well.
Yeah.
And yeah, we covered a lot of ground this stream, so thank you for tuning in. Of course, again, if you missed something, the VOD will be always available on YouTube, but you can also rewatch it on Twitch for a good while as well. Please check out Chapter 2 coming next week, and all the balance changes with it as well in update 2.8.1, which releases with it basically. And check out the new DLC and of course the Steam sale for all of those that may not have the DLCs and avatars coming with it now, or if you're new to the game and maybe you're just watching this stream for the first time, it's a perfect time to jump in there. Yeah, hi there.
Come on, join us.
Join us.
We're reasonable folks. Shoot some people in game.
Yeah, very important. Yeah. That is Ron. Thank you so much,
Yeah,
and Davon as
with
well
pleasure.
for joining.
Absolutely.
And with that, we wish you all a good night and a nice summer as well.
Yeah.
And
See you in the trenches. Bye
See
bye.
ya. Bye.
Jest.
Half in the bag. Okay, so I watched. Good luck. Have fun. Don't die.
Gore Verbinski.
Yes.
There's some shit that's about to come down that I can't prepare you for.
Okay,